Welcome to our gardening channel. Today, we will talk about garden biodiversity. We hope that you will be fine. If you want to get more videos, please remember to subscribe to our channel. So, let's get started. Working with nature, growing your vegetables medieval style, akin to the original Elizabethan English cottage gardens, can be easier than conventional gardening practices in that you're working with nature rather than against it, and it's fun. This is especially so if you incorporate a wildlife pond, as opposed to a fish pond, into your gardening scheme, and then sit back and observe as the ecosystems find their own natural levels. Gardening organically is eco-friendly. It's good for the wildlife, it's good for the environment, and it's good for you and your family if the vegetables picked fresh from the garden and packed with nutrition are prepared and served healthily. Best of all, fresh fruit and vegetables from the garden are packed with flavor that you just don't get from supermarket bought produce. Medieval gardening across the known world. The Middle Ages, also known as the medieval period, began with the fall of the Roman Empire in the 5th century and continued until the Renaissance, which slowly rolled out across Europe from the 14th to 17th century. When the Romans left Britain in 410 AD, we declined into the Dark Ages and didn't join the Middle Ages proper until the Norman invasion of 1066. And then the medieval period continued in England until the beginning of the reign of Queen Elizabeth I in 1558. The style and principle of what we think of as an English cottage garden was first practiced in England during the Roman occupation 2000 years ago and abandoned when they left in the 5th century, not to be revived again until the beginning of the agricultural revolution in the 16th century. So it's in this context that the concept of English cottage gardens didn't emerge until the Elizabethan period, at the end of the Middle Ages. Although there is speculation that its roots stem back to the Black Death of the 1340s, when out of necessity laborers utilized what little space they had in small personal gardens to grow much needed food and herbs. And it's these peasants of the medieval period I'm thinking of when I refer to this gardening technique style, so as not to confuse it with traditional Renaissance gardening, which is far more formal and grandeur. Cottage gardens of English origin are typically random and carefree in form. Originally, these gardens were created by the peasants, workers, who lived in village cottages to provide themselves with food and herbs, and flowers planted in for decoration, companion planting. The more common flowers in cottage gardens, in addition to flowering herbs, were hollyhocks, delphinium and daisies. The method of planting closely packed plants reduced the amount of weeding and watering required. Today, a cottage garden is often primarily flowers and completely free-form in nature. Many gardeners attempt to use traditional varieties of plants in their cottage gardens to preserve the antiquity of the method. Companion planting flowers and vegetables working together in the medieval-style vegetable plot. Companion planting vegetables with flowers is an essential component in medieval gardening. The flowers, if well chosen, can transform a vegetable plot to make it more attractive and pleasing the eye, while at the same time help to protect your vegetables from pests. Pot marigolds because they repel aphids, and poppies because they attract the aphid's predator, the ladybird, as two prime examples. Some companion flowers, including pot marigold, borage and sunflowers, as well as being attractive and making a fine display in your vegetable garden, also provides for an excellent addition to your herb collection. The petals of pot marigold and borage are edible, and if picked fresh adds great color to your salads. You don't use the whole flower for pot marigolds, just pull the petals off and use fresh when required. Just gently pulling on the center of the blue borage flower and the whole flower comes away from the plant in one piece. Sunflower seeds, if you can separate the seeds from their husks, which is an art in itself, are rich in vitamins and therefore provides an excellent nutritional food source for adding to your recipes. Other benefits of companion planting includes camouflage, weed control and moisture retention. If you have your cabbages hidden by flowers, they are less of a target from the air for cabbage butterflies, white in color, than if you have them laid out in neat rows with nothing around them other than bare soil. Also, growing flowers between and around your vegetables makes it more difficult for weeds to take control and helps to keep valuable moisture in the ground during hot, dry spells. Organic gardening for the benefit of the wildlife. Organic gardening aims to sustain and enhance the health of ecosystems and organisms from the smallest in the soil to the wildlife and to humans. Wildlife benefiting from organic practices in the garden includes foxes, hedgehogs, squirrels, and birds, all of which can help with pests without the need for the use of chemicals. Organic pest control involves the cumulative effect of many techniques, including allowing for an acceptable level of pest damage, encouraging predatory beneficial insects and animals to flourish and eat pests, encouraging beneficial microorganisms, careful plant selection, choosing disease-resistant varieties, planting companion crops that discourage or divert pests, rotating crops to different locations from year to year to interrupt pest reproduction cycles. Organic gardening also helps to reduce pollution, is healthier for the soil, aids water conservation and can extend the growing season, all of which is beneficial to wildlife. Wildlife gardening and wildlife ponds, toads, frogs, newts, but no fish. Wildlife gardening aims to create an environment that's safe for and attractive to native wildlife such as birds, amphibians, reptiles, insects and mammals. A wildlife garden is generally informal, often wild, and will usually contain a variety of habitats that have either been deliberately created by the gardener, such as ponds to attract frogs, newts, toads and dragonflies, nesting boxes for birds and hedgehogs, log piles which can provide shelter for lizards and slow worms, dry stone walls for frogs during the winter months, and native plants to attract beneficial insects such as ladybirds, in America known as ladybugs. Wildlife pond and water features in action, night lighting and fun with my wildlife pond. A short video clip I made of our wildlife pond and its water features showing the pond during the light of day and the pond lighting at night. This video was made shortly after we had a BBQ party and a neighbor humorously left a family of yellow plastic ducks in the pond to keep the pond wildlife company. Wildlife pond lighting revamped during the winter months. While the wildlife were in hibernation, I recently replaced the old halogen pond lights with waterproof LED RGB strip lighting, placing it around the back of the pond and concealing it with decking screwed to the back wall. The default setting, as shown in the video below, is to cycle between green, red and blue. Albeit with the remote control you can get it to cycle through 7 colors of your own choosing, or set it to auto where the lights do their own thing randomly. Robin redbreast, the gardener's friend, European robin, Erythecus rubecula. As any British gardener well knows, the robin, being relatively unafraid of humans, is a friendly bird that likes to come close when the soil is being dug, in order to look out for earthworms and other food freshly turned up. And when the gardener stops for a break, the robin is known to use the handle of the spade as a lookout point. In this photo, the robin stayed within a few feet of me, sometimes only a foot away, while I was clearing and tidying up parts of the garden, and was more than happy to pose for the camera. Herbs in the medieval garden, in the newly built raised back border, and in containers by the wildlife pond, herbs are being grown to add to the diversity of the garden and for kitchen use. The herbs include mint, black peppermint, lemon mint, Indian mint, satureja, sage iciterina, parsley, bronze fennel, French marjoram, feverfew, Laurus lobalis, bay tree, lemon balm, rosmarinus, a trailing form of rosemary, and thyme including Doon Valley and thyme silver posy. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.